Oh, hi. I've got a cup of tea this week and we've got a change of scenery. How are you feeling about it? I don't know, I kind of like it. It's a kind of a bit brighter. Oh, 1 second. Ta-da! Right, okay. So this week I thought I would chat a little bit about the wedding planning process, what happened, trying to make all the decisions that you've got to make, the fact that there's a lot more than you think. But first, got a bold lip, got it on. I've been doing really well. I went out of the house on Saturday, I think it was, without it on, but I remembered before I got out of the car, so I put another one on, because you can guarantee I've always got one in my pocket or my handbag. So it was fine, safe. Writing wise, I think I'm going to change the resolution. I'm going to make an adjustment, because 1,000 words a week, when you're stuck on it, doesn't help me. Not at all. So I'm going to make sure that I work on it an hour a day, whether that's writing notes, coming up with ideas, characters, whatever it is. That's what I'm going to do. And I think I can stick to that, because then at least I'm still keeping it rolling and I feel like I'm achieving something then. Little goals, little goals. On to the good stuff. So when we got engaged in 2015, 21st of February 2015, we got engaged. And I've been planning my wedding since I can remember, because I'm one of those girls that even before we were going out, I'd already told him that it was planned. Now, in theory, yeah, all planned. When it comes to actually seeing what's involved, everything went out the window. I think very few things, if anything, made it through from like what I had imagined from when I was younger. It was still my dream wedding, just a completely different dream. So I think the main thing is to just not have your expectations sky high, because in reality, weddings are expensive. Who knew? So yeah, obviously I'd been through Pinterest, and my sister-in-law can vouch for that entirely, because I got her on it when she was planning her wedding, and I've even got like secret tabs for hers, and then I've got my own things I'd love at my wedding, and I don't think anything of it on there. I will update you on whether it is or not, because I'm gonna go back on my Pinterest and have a look, but pretty sure it's not. No. I think the main thing, the first thing we did was establish how big this wedding was going to be, because I always knew I wanted lots of family and friends around. It was never going to be a little one. So we wrote a list each of family and friends that we wanted to be there. That's a big list for both of us, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, and you know, you can talk about them day to day, but when you write them down on paper, whew, got big families. So we kind of looked at the list and thought, this is too many, even for like the biggest wedding ever. So we decided that we would have to say no kids, and we don't have children ourselves, so it made sense, because there's a lot of kids in the family, and I always wanted it to be more of a grown-up affair anyway. I just wanted it to be our wedding and to be focused on that. So apart from our beautiful little niece, who was my flower girl, we had no children at the wedding, and it was lovely. Not that I don't love them more than anything, I love them all, but I wanted it to be grown-up affair, and everyone could get drunk, and that was the main thing. So we did that, and everyone was really cool with it. So if you're thinking about it and are worried, do not worry, because if they want to be there, they'll be there, or they'll find a way. And if you're really, really worried, there are things like babysitting services that can come and have a room there and will look after the kids, or like if you're having a teepee style one, they've got, so at a wedding fair they've got like a teepee and they'll have films and all sorts and keep them entertained, but that's besides the point. We didn't have any there, and it was, you know, that's what we wanted. But it did still dictate what venue we could have. So we started looking at ones that were just the right size, because some can fit hundreds of people in, others can fit a very small amount in. So we had a look round at local venues, sort of to get a feel of what sort of thing we wanted. And we looked at, I can't even remember how many we looked at. They've all kind of merged into one. But essentially, ever since I went to a local festival called Rhythms of the World, and it was held in Hitchin Priory, I remember the first night walking out in the dark and they projected on the back of the house something, some lights or something. But I remember looking at the back of the house and just falling in love with it and just thinking how beautiful it looked. Like the architecture of it is just gorgeous, and I thought brilliant. So we went to have a look at that, and I'd been to some work Christmas parties there, and we'd been there for a couple of other things. And it just every time I just loved it, and all the staff are really lovely as well, so that helps. So we had a look there, had a look at the rooms where you can get married in ceremony rooms, and had a look at the marquee as well, and we fell in love with the marquee. Basically, I mean, it's gorgeous, lovely marquee, perfect, great size, bar, dance floor, kitchen, toilets, everything you could need. But also it meant that I could walk out of that marquee and look at the back of the house. So that was the best thing ever. And Stuart agreed that it's just gorgeous, and I've got a picture of him staring in it. It's lovely, it's one of my favourite photos. So it's just got real meaning for us. And plus we first met in Hitchin, and it's just an important place to us in general, and we love it there. So really good choice, happy with it. So, and the numbers would fit perfectly. We were really lucky that we found the venue as quickly as we did, and we booked it, and they were shocked at how far in advance, because I mean we got married on the 12th of May last year and got engaged over 2 years before that, and booked it. I think we booked in the March, so that was the main thing out of the way. And I think with any wedding, the venue definitely dictates the style you go for, possibly even your colour scheme. So it's really important that you get the right one for you. Yeah, the colour scheme, I guess I'll go on to that. I love really rich colours, and I mean for May, generally people go for like pastel colours, like spring sort of, that sort of stuff. But I love really like bold colours. You wouldn't guess it going by all the grey that's in my house, because the grey goes everywhere. So we went to B&Q. We went to B&Q and we picked out lots of different colours of all the ones we liked and paired them up in ways we liked, to see what would work well. And I sort of picked out some favourites, Stuart picked out some favourites, and then we lined them up and just decided that we were going to go for them. So we went for a really dark emerald green, and then like a really, like a fuchsia pink, but a dark kind of, like that sort of colour. I mean, it's darker than that in real life. I'll show you this again later. So yeah, they were our main colours. And then from when you've chosen the colours, it means that you can start choosing bridesmaids' dresses, flowers, other decorations for it. So you can get more things ticked off the list, which is always good, because if you leave the colours later, what's he going to do? But invites as well, because you know, some people put a colour scheme on the invite, other people don't, they do completely a shock, but I like to keep everything quite uniform. And then it came to choosing other details. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was a big Pinterest fiend, and I went on there and I didn't want to do things that other people had done. I like to be original. If you know me well, you know that I'm telling the truth. So I wanted to do things that, obviously you're not going to do anything completely original, but I wanted to do something that at least my friends and family hadn't necessarily seen before. So we did decorations like the table names. We chose David Bowie's songs, because not only do me and Stuart love David Bowie, but also my dad and Stuart's mum and one of my bridesmaids does as well. So it's a real like connection, and we really loved it. So we named all of the tables after his songs, some of, obviously, we didn't have that many. And then on the back of them I stencilled on, I'll get back to that anyway later, but I stencilled on some lyrics. So we kind of linked it in, and then we some of the tables we managed to link to the people sitting on them, some of them we didn't, so don't overanalyze it. But if you remember your table name, think about whether it applies to you or not. Definitely the bridal party one does, because it's hilarious. But also, so we did things like this desk here, it's actually gold, I don't know whether you can tell, but it's a Pimp Your Prosecco bar, which is something I did steal from Pinterest. Hands up. But we bought an old school desk and I sprayed it gold and then it faded, so Mum sprayed it gold. That stayed. God bless her skills. And on the inside, I would lift it, but it's got all our booze on top at the moment. I'd lift it up, but it says Pimp Your Prosecco, I think. I'll put a picture in. I'm going to put loads of pictures in afterwards, I think, or maybe as I go along, but you will see them at some point in the video. And then we put things like fruit juices, frozen fruit, popper ball things, which were like balls of flavour, and glitter, edible glitter type things that go in drinks, straws, stirrers, just bits and bobs that people can use, and it keeps people entertained as well during the welcome drinks, because everyone got a glass of Prosecco. So we did those, we did the flowers ourselves, that's one of my budgets, that's in my budget one, but yeah, so doing like the things like that. We got to choose the entertainment as well, that's the big decision. What do you do for entertainment? Choices. Well, for my 18th, my parents surprised me with, I had a big burlesque themed party at a club in Hitchin, conveniently. And it was just amazing, and it was the best thing ever, but they surprised me with a magician who I loved, and I still love, because I said, please come and do the wedding for us. And he did. So Lee Smith, you're amazing. I'll link him below, to either his website or his Facebook page or something like that, but he is amazing. Everyone was astounded. I will put some pictures of their amazement in as well, because it's so good. He has never failed to amaze me, ever. Oh. So we did that, and I knew I wanted something to keep people entertained as well when they weren't with Lee, and later on into the evening. So things like, we had a photo booth, I know that's generic, but we wanted one, and I've got the strip one rather than the 4. Just little bits. Don't be afraid to be samey. Like, don't be afraid to do something that someone else has done, because your wedding is still your wedding. It's completely different. But they're the main things. I mean, we also put garden games outside, which is standard. We got giant Jenga, and they had croquet, and we decorated the lawn with fake flamingos, because if you know me well, you know that I love flamingos. Oh, I love them. They're everywhere. And I've still got all the lawn flamingos. We don't have any lawn to put them in, but I'm not giving them away. No way. They came from America. Well, 2 of them didn't. 2 of them were a lovely leaving gift from Heritage Foundation, from the farm girls, and I love it. Well, I love them. And then the rest of them came all the way from America. Oh, so grateful for that one. Yeah, they're the big decisions. You've got to keep people entertained. I really wanted people to just walk in and think, wow, you know, this is a bit different and I like it. But by all means, if you looked at the pictures and you don't look at the details thoroughly, it just looks like a normal wedding. But I wanted the little things just to be a little bit, you know. We had the favours we chose, we made ourselves, but they were chocolate coins, and then I put for Richard, well, we both had, but I did it, for richer for poorer, and just a little thank you note, just to say thank you for coming, and they had a little chocolate coin on them, but they were 2p's. Now they were gold, but there's not much I can do about that. I can only buy certain ones, but they were 2p's, because ever since I've been really, really tiny, I've loved 2p machines. I used to go to Felixstowe all the time to go on the 2p machines. Oh my god, I love them. I could spend hours there. Hours. So that was just a little nod to that particular hobby of mine. So, how we saved money on all this luxurious stuff. Well, we had 2 years to save, so a lot of it we could kind of save up for, and we knew what things we wanted to get out of the way and get paid for. So we put chunks in from our own savings, and then we decided how much we were going to save per month and then how quickly we were going to pay things off. Obviously we were very lucky and had contributions from both our parents, and that's, you know, we're very, very grateful for those. But we definitely saved a lot as well ourselves. We definitely contributed a lot ourselves. The main thing I think you can do is, if you can afford to, if you find something you want, pay for it outright. So mainly suppliers, so things like photographer, videographer, even like entertainment, anything like that. Generally, if you say, can I pay you now? Will that benefit me? They may well offer you a discount. If they don't, by all means, just pay them as and when. I like to get things out of my bank account. Now I know that's wrong, because realistically, the longer it stays in mine, the more the money is mine. But I like to just get out of the way, much easier. And if I can get a discount with that, brilliant. So that's a top tip. Just don't be afraid to ask what you can do to save some money. Don't be afraid. We bought a lot of the bits and bobs on the high street or eBay. So we bought the boys' suits. Stuart had 2 best men and 3 ushers, and obviously his suit as well we bought, and we got them all from ASOS. Now we used ASOS A-list, so we signed up to that, and with each suit we bought we got more money, which helped. And then we also went through Quidco as well, and I'll link everything below that I talk about. Don't worry, it'll all be there. So yeah, we went through that, saved some money that way. They were all off ASOS. They were still decent suits, but I knew that I wanted to buy something for them to keep, because it was like a gift for them as well. We weren't going to ask for them back and take them back, and I knew that I wanted something a little bit different. So we got them green suits, which I love, and they were really dark green, and just perfect. So we bought those. And then we got the ties from a place, actually no, we got the boys' ties from Amazon as well. So they came in, I think they came in a pack, and they were all champagne gold, and they were lovely. But we got those from Amazon, and they were really cheap, and they were lovely ties, and you know, they're not gonna, I wanted a champagne tie for them, we both did, but realistically they're not gonna wear it again, so why would I spend masses of money on a champagne tie? Now they're all going to say to me, I always need a champagne tie, why didn't you spend more money on it? And I will feel bad, but oh well. So we got Stuart's from a place called Swagger and Swoon, which is amazing. I love it so much. Their customer service is incredible. But to get a fuchsia pink tie for a boy, surprisingly difficult? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So we got it from Swagger and Swoon. This will probably be backwards when I get to it, but and they send you little samples of the colour. Now this doesn't look the same colour as I can see it. It looks a bit more red. I don't know. And then they'll tell you exactly what the code is, and they'll tell you exactly what they can make in that colour. And they texted me to say, have I received it? Am I happy with it? And they were just really, really good and really easy to communicate with. And the prices were really good as well. I can't remember how much, I should remember how much we paid for it, but I can't. But I would thoroughly recommend them, because not only do they do wacky colours, but they do normal ones as well. So you can get lots of matching ones, and you can get, these are just the ones that are on here. So like ties, skinny ties, cravats, bow ties, cummerbunds, pocket squares, boys ties, boys cravats, and boys bow ties. So you can get lots and lots of stuff, and they are excellent. And I think, I don't know whether I saw them at a wedding show or whether I just found them on good old Google. So what else did we do? So the dresses for the girls we bought on eBay. They were going to come from Amazon, but I left it too late, so they went out of stock, or they stopped making them. So my lovely bridesmaid Ree searched high and low to stop me from like crying into my laptop, and she found them on eBay, the exact same dresses, for the same, if not slightly less, I think. God bless that girl. And then we bought petticoats to go underneath them, which I believe I got from Amazon, and I didn't like the hem, so I sat and cut all the hems. I like to make more work for myself than I need to. And then my mum bought, well, we bought some gold banding to go around the dress as well, just to make them a bit more individual, because I like to be different. That's the running theme here. The other thing we did is I hadn't anticipated quite how much invites would cost. They're expensive. So this is also a running theme of me liking to make more work for myself. I designed them on a website called Canva, and I loved them. I still do, and I think Stuart's slightly amazed at how well they came out. He has faith in me, of course. But we designed them on there and then printed them ourselves, and I think it must have cost us less than 100 quid in total. And we did invites, accommodation, RSVP, and like a gifts one as well, just to let people know that we're not expecting anything. So obviously all the RSVPs were coming back to us, but everything else was going off to other people, because we're going to invite people, obviously. But also I made the menus for the day, and I made the favours for the day on there, and I also designed the order of service that we had that printed, because that came in a booklet. I'm not that amazing at making books. So we did that, and then we cut them all out, and you think it would be simple, you think, oh, just use a guillotine. Because I will insert a picture of them, and I'll try and do a little bit. This is an upside down RSVP, because I don't want to like show off whose it is. But I cut out all the details on every single one, and I think we sent out 60 daytime ones, and this happened for the evening ones as well. Look at the detail. I can't even. It won't focus, but you can kind of see it. Stanley knife and a mat. Sat there for hours doing them. Did cut myself a couple of times, it wasn't great. It hurt a lot. So we did that, and then we had an invite night where my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, obviously now, my auntie, my mum, me and Stuart had a bit of cake, and we sat and we put all of the invites together. Susie and Sue did loads of bows and put them in envelopes, and then we were ready for Mum to write the addresses on for us, because she's got much neater writing than us. So that was like a production line. That was excellent. So we did that. If anyone ever offers you any help, please just take it. I'm a control freak and I don't like taking help from people. You have to force it on me, but it's so greatly appreciated, honestly. We also ended up making the cake as well, which in the long run did save us money compared to having someone, like paying someone to make it for us. We obviously had to buy all of the kit, so like the big pans. I will insert a picture of my cake, because I don't think you can appreciate how much work went into it unless you see it. So I'll put a picture, maybe here-ish. Yeah, it was huge. We had a plain tier, a carrot cake tier, because I love carrot cake, and then a chocolate orange, like 4-tier one, and then a little fruit cake on the top, which Stuart's mum made for us, and then Mum covered it and put, oh, you'll see it in the picture, that way. We also made lots of the decorations ourselves, so I'm going to try and show you some. These are dishevelled a bit. We made some of the jars, so I'll put a picture in of what our centerpieces were, but we essentially had a vinyl record with a pole sticking out of it, and then a frame with a wood back. I'm going to show you a picture. Well, no, I'm going to show you one. This is one that didn't quite make the cut because we ran out of tables. So this is Diamond Dogs. So we had, imagine this painted gold, which it probably doesn't look that much different anyway now, but here it does. And then we had a little vinyl record on the bottom, and then Stuart's best man kindly did all of the names for us. And then on the back we had a block of wood where, this hasn't got one on, otherwise I'd show you, where we painted it in blackboard paint and I stenciled on the letters for the lyrics for each song. So I'll put a picture in. I'll put like a proper one from when I was doing it if I can find one, but if not I'll put some of the photographer's ones in. So we made those. Stuart did all the construction, I did the arty-farty writing bits and the spraying, but Susie and Megan also helped with that as well. And we made so we had those, and then we had 3 jars with flowers that we bought and assembled the day before in there, which I've now made into candles, but this one failed miserably, so I'm just going to show you it for the jar reference. So we sprayed Nutella jars gold. Imagine this empty or full of water beads, because that's what we put underneath it. So we sprayed Nutella jars gold at the top and then put flowers in them, and then this writing around here says Jolly Good Wedding, but again it's not focusing. You'll see in the photo. But yeah, so we stuck those around there. It smells nice. So then we put flowers in there, and that was it. I wanted something simple that people could talk around because they were quite elevated, so it wasn't going to block your view too much. We also made the table plan, which is a big canvas and it has singles on it, sprayed gold, that look like, that then have mini versions of the table names on. Brilliant. Then we, Mum painted on, but they were all secret. All the table names were secret from everyone other than me, Stuart, my bridesmaid Megan and Stuart's best man, because we wanted to just keep another surprise for the parents who didn't have many surprises coming their way. So it was all covered up when Mum wrote the names on, and then when we did it on, like, we took everything off the night before the wedding, everyone else had left the marquee and we just went around pulling all the things off and it just looked finished, because all day we'd been decorating and they'd have orange like Sainsbury's bags on top of them. It's ridiculous. I also made the top table centrepiece, which was an S and an A, well, an S, an ampersand and an A, and it had oasis around it, which I then filled with flowers the day before. But we also put together artificial bouquets for the bridesmaids, and I did little buttonholes for the boys, which was so convincing that my dad even put one in the freezer thinking it was real. So, good job, Dad. He'll hate me for telling that story, and I'm sorry, but I think that that's just a testament to how good my arts and crafts skills are. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Yes, we did those, and I was going to do my bouquet. Now, I bought all the artificial flowers for it and I had high hopes, but I just couldn't quite put it together right. So my mum's lovely friend Michelle, her sister Nolene, is a florist, and she just has the most wonderful, wonderful flowers. Like, they're the most beautiful things I've ever seen in the world, and I love them. And she was an absolute godsend because she put my artificial bouquet together for me. She's the basement florist, and I will link her below as well because you have to go and check out her flowers. Like the dream. I'll put a picture of my flowers in as well. I need to stop saying that because I'll just put pictures in everywhere. Yeah, so we did that. She put some real eucalyptus in there and everything for me as well, and everyone complimented me on them. Oh, I love them so much. Yeah, the other thing we did, don't be afraid to use things that aren't meant to be used for certain things. I mean, that sounds really complicated. Basically, we went to IKEA and bought a miniature greenhouse. And Mum sprayed it gold and wrote cards on it, and it was our card box, and it was lovely because it's just a glass framed box, and then you can just open the lid, pop your card in, done. Perfect. And I loved it because it's just gorgeous. We also did the table swagging ourselves on the top table because it cost extortionate amounts to have someone come in and do it, and it turned out pretty well. Pretty proud of it. I wasn't going to pay like 50 quid for someone to come and do it. I get to keep the swagging now. Winner. Haven't used it, haven't even looked at it since. I don't know where it's gone. One thing that I have to mention, because Megan will kill me if I don't, I'm sure, is both me and Megan sat and cut out heart-shaped confetti with a hole punch, not with scissors, for hours out of card, and that got sprinkled on the tables as well, just as a bit of an extra. So they're the main things we made. If I can think of anything else, I'm sure I will write it down. I'm sure there's things I've forgotten. We made so much that I lost track, really. Yeah, they're the main things of how we save money as well, because the more you can make yourself and not rely on other people to do for you, because there's people that will come in and decorate. And honestly, it's not quite as stressful as I thought it would be. It was quite enjoyable. And after the wedding, I had a real, like, what the hell am I going to do now moment? Because I was, what am I going to make? So, lucky my bridesmaid's engaged, because I'm trying to force my skills on her. Honestly, it was so much fun, and half of the fun is saving the money. And I had a spreadsheet. Please, if you do anything, just have a spreadsheet, and if you want mine, I will send it to you. I will find it and I will send it to you, because I've sent it to other people. It's got all the formula in. I'll even leave in what we spent on some things if you want. Not everything, obviously. Some things you can't save money on. I mean, you could save money on your wedding dress. I didn't, because I loved it and had a veil and everything. I'll tell you one thing I did save money on though. My shoes. I'll tell you a little story. I was going in to buy some designer shoes. I thought this is the one chance in my life, if ever I'm going to have some designer shoes, I can justify it for this day. And I couldn't tell any of my bridesmaids or anyone really, apart from my mum, because no one knew what my dress was like. I knew I had a long dress, so half of me was thinking, yeah, I want some designer shoes, this is going to be amazing, and half of me was thinking, no one's going to see them, Amelia. What are you going to do? So I went into John Lewis, and my sister-in-law had put aside some shoes for me, some June shoes, some beautiful, beautiful June shoes. And I went and I said, have you got any of these? And the lady said, no. And I was too scared to say, but they've been put aside for me. Because I'm just ridiculously awkward like that sometimes, apparently. And I had a little browse around, and I thought, actually, can I justify spending that money when I've managed to save that money elsewhere? Would I not rather just have it to myself? So I had a little look on the sale thing, and as if by some miracle, there was a pair of wedding shoes in my size that were just beautiful. They had little bows on the back, pointed toes, perfect. So I got them. They were £5. Can't ask for much more. And I sent my sister-in-law a picture, and she went, yeah, I discounted those earlier today. And I thought, well, that's meant to be then, isn't it? Because she didn't know like that I was interested in other shoes. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. So I've still got them, and I may well just dye them a different colour so I can wear them again, because they were really comfortable. I obviously bought a second pair as well, but that's not a money-saving tip, so don't do that. I would definitely say, if you do anything, get yourself a folder. Just gonna... This is full, still, of contracts, leaflets, RSVPs, plans, everything. I mean, it doesn't look very thick, does it? I did kind of organise it a bit more, but like church things, venue things, everything, because we got married in the church, which didn't need anything doing to it because it's just the most beautiful thing in the world. We really should go back, and we will. But we got married in the church and then went on to the priory. Yeah, they're my main tips, I should think. I can't really think of anything else. Don't be afraid to just do what you want. No one's going to judge you for it. I've had so many people say that ours is the best wedding they've been to in a long time. And that feeling for me is just amazing, knowing that it's what I wanted and people feel that way. So if you just be true to what you want, no one is going to care whether it's what they would do. They're there because they love you and they want to see you get married. So just enjoy it. And obviously then, I'll only mention this briefly because I will talk about like our whole day and the experience of the day. And then I'll talk about like the day before, the day of, and then I'll talk about like the honeymoon and what we did and stuff like that. But choosing your honeymoon is so important because you want something to relax and just enjoy afterwards. Now, for us, I've always wanted to go back to Barbados because I've been a few times and I love it so much. I love it there. So I knew I always wanted to go back, and Stuart had no problems with that whatsoever. And my aunt and uncle had have an apartment out there and it's the most beautiful thing in the whole wide world, and they rent it out, and I will link that below, plus the video that my cousin has done as well, because it just shows you just how gorgeous it is in motion. So yeah, they very, very kindly, as a wedding present, gave that to us for 2 weeks, along with Judy, the housekeeper, who I love as well. She's just part of the family. And then my dad and his partner gave us our flights. So we were very, very fortunate that we didn't have to pay for any part of our honeymoon apart from spending money, which we were also gifted as well by my parents. So it was wonderful, we did that. But I would say definitely just pick somewhere that you've always wanted to be, because it's one of those things that you can do it, you can justify doing it for your honeymoon, but when are you going to do it again? And make the most of getting like personalised stuff. If you're that kind of person, if you're like me, I had a wifey t-shirt and I had like the date on it. Half of it was trying to get an upgrade, but it didn't work. And then I had like a wife for life t-shirt, I had a wifey top, and Stuart had matching, a wifey swimsuit, sorry. And Stuart had matching ones apart from the swimsuit, obviously, that would look weird. And he had like the husband ones, and I will put pictures of that in as well. But when else are you going to be able to do that? I mean, I do still wear it occasionally, but I couldn't get away with wearing that day to day now. But I loved it, and I soaked it up the entire honeymoon, because it was just glorious. Just make sure it's stuff you want to do, whether it's relaxing, whether it's doing something like adventurous. Just have fun. Just have fun throughout all the wedding planning process. And if anyone's got any questions, just ask. I'll either answer them directly, or I can do another video with questions if I get enough. So next week I'll talk about like the whole day, the day up, like the day before and the day of, and then like the little bit in between as well that you get, where I cried because it was all over. But that's a story for another time. See you next week. Bye!